So what I find oftentimes is that I can give talks or discussions about us and about what we do and who we are, but I'm more interested in what you want to know about hearing. So if you have any questions, sometimes I can talk for an hour and then answer 3 hours worth of questions. So I would rather talk about what you want to talk about. He says you have a question.
I do. Got this constant buzzing in my ear.
Yeah,
and
so
I can hear it seems like okay, but this buzzing just will not go away.
it's really frustrating, right?
It is.
Yeah, to have like a buzzing, some people call it like a hissing, ringing.
It's not ringing, it's,
Mhm.
it's like a constant static sound.
Yeah, all of those things are called tinnitus. And tinnitus is a sign, like a symptom of something.
Yeah.
And it can be a whole gamut of things. It can be things like hormone changes or allergy problems. It can be a sign of ear infection or maybe wax. It can also be a sign of being around loud noises, which is the most common, and it can also be age-related. The way that we find out what's causing your tinnitus, your buzzing, is a hearing test, because the shape of the hearing test can tell us. It can rule out a lot of things that it's not. Like, we can definitely tell you if it's a noise exposure issue or if it's a medication related. Like if you had some kind of an accident, like we were talking about earlier, if you have a severe accident and you're on certain medications, IV drugs, that can cause certain changes that make the buzzing or the ringing happen, and the hearing test tells us that. The way it is, if you've ever happened to seen a graph of hearing, but we graph it out, and the shape it takes, like if it takes a dip or a V, that means noise exposure. If it goes along great and then falls off at the end, that means medications. So the shape of your hearing test tells us what's going on, what the problem is, and many times we can figure out what the cause is, which helps us come up with a solution. The hard thing about the buzzing is that you can't take a break from it, right? There's no vacation. There's never a way.
It's worse in the evening. When I'm trying to watch TV, it's loud.
It,
very loud.
yeah, having it worse in the evening is a common thing, because by the end of the day, you're more stressed and tired, and stress brings that on more. So we have a lot of people that say it's better in the morning when I first wake up, and then worse about the time I go to bed.
It's very light. Like right now, it's very light, but by evening, it'll be very loud. So.
Not fun at all. No.
And is there anything that you can do about it?
Is there anything that can be done about the tinnitus? So it depends, and it depends on that hearing test, because then we can see what caused it, and if there's something that can be adjusted or changed, then perhaps there would be a way to relieve it. If there isn't any other answer, we do have different things that we can do to make it much more tolerable. Like you could wear something at night just to ease the stress of it. So I was talking before about how you can't take a break, there's no vacation, which means that the depression rate in people with tinnitus goes up. The suicide rate with people with tinnitus goes up, because it's never ending. There's no relief, right? Hi, come on in, welcome. Thank you. And so the answer is yes, there are some things we can do. If it's not something that can be changed, like medication wise, then there's no cure. Like if it's a noise related, many people have been around loud noises, and that causes hearing issues, which causes the buzzing or humming or whooshing or ringing, whatever sound it might be. And there are things that we can certainly do that people find relief, and they're very pleased with the results, but there's no cure. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I would encourage you to have a hearing test, just so we can find out what it is. And if for no other reason, I would like everyone to have a hearing test, because if you think about going to your physician, every time you go, they measure your blood pressure, they measure your weight, they measure your pulse, they measure your blood work. If we don't have a baseline on hearing, we don't have any idea. We have a lot of people that come in the office that say, gosh, I think my hearing's changed. Well, if I don't have something to compare it to, I don't know. So getting a baseline is really important at any point. We've been really trying to encourage people to remember ears and rears. It's my favorite thing. When you get a colonoscopy, you get your hearing checked. That's the perfect time, the perfect age for it. So ears and rears, you won't forget. Anytime you get a colonoscopy, come get your hearing checked. Yeah, you won't forget it, right?
I'd rather
Yeah.
get my ears checked.
Yeah, mine's much more pleasant to go through. Yeah.
Here's a pointer for you. After a certain age, they don't want you to do colonoscopies. So for our age, you might want to come up with something.
Yeah. Whenever. Well, if you've had one and you haven't had a hearing test, then that would be the time. But
Every 5 years.
it's a good,
That's
yeah,
what I say,
it's a good connection. But thanks for the point. Yeah, I'll have to think of another little rhymey thing for people who don't need colonoscopies anymore. Yeah, I like
Before a
that.
certain age.
But yeah, but the point is that we need to get something down. It's so crucial. Like there is something that happens actually whenever some people will wake up in the morning and just can't hear. Like your hearing just goes away, and you have 72 hours to fix that before it's permanent. So we take those issues very, very seriously. So if you know anyone who says, "Man, I woke up this morning, I can't hear out of this ear," that's not something to fool around
I
with.
did have that problem.
It's
And I
a
did go to a doctor and I had a deep infection down in there. So
yeah, you had a deep infection in your ear causing that to happen. Many times, if we don't address it quickly, then
I didn't want
it's not reversible. So that's something that when people call, we get you in right away. We get in touch with the ENT, they get you in right away because we all know how important that is. There's not enough education, I don't feel like, about that piece, that if there is a sudden hearing change, you definitely want to not put that off. You want to check that out right away.
Is there insurance on hearing aids?
Is there insurance on hearing aids? Oh, yeah.
Because someone's lost quite a few of them.
Oh no. I thought you meant something different. So I thought that you meant, does insurance cover hearing aids? So I can talk about that, but you're talking about loss and damage, right?
After the insurance pays for it.
Yes.
Then you lose them.
Then you lose
gotta
them.
Wait 3 years. So you gotta buy them out of pocket.
Yeah.
We make about
Most
5 of them.
most reputable companies are going to offer a one-time loss and damage. So during that first 3 years, you can lose them one time and have them replaced.
Okay, that wasn't the case.
I'm sorry to hear that. That should not be. And so
I didn't
after
think
that,
you could buy a policy, that I didn't know there was such a thing.
you can add it to your homeowner's insurance.
Oh, okay.
Yep. If you call your broker, a lot of times it's covered. And especially if you have the serial number of the devices, we've had that
Okay.
covered under
I'll
homeowner's
know
insurance before.
when his next
Huh?
visit here comes.
Yeah, I would recommend using the warranty, the loss and damage warranty in the first 3 years first. And then if there's another set loss, then go to the homeowners, because we don't want your homeowner's insurance to rise without a good reason. So there's options there. You can also get an extended warranty to cover it again if you don't want to use again the homeowners.
We
Yeah.
found that these kind of things that they're less likely to lose them than the other ones.
Yeah, and so what you're talking about is the piece that goes over the ear tends to be a little bit,
That's
that's
the time we bought these after 4 of them.
yeah.
Slow learner.
It's hard, yeah. My recommendation to you would be, there are hearing devices that come with a custom piece that kind of snap in, and we find people don't lose them that way.
Okay.
So once we have like a loss and maybe even a second loss, we're like, this isn't working for you, so we need to back up and look at something different. And so there is an actual molded earpiece that would snap in, that you would be able to lock in. And if anything, the piece behind your ear there would maybe flop off if it was going to be, but it would still just hang and it wouldn't fall out on the floor or wherever it would go.
In
So.
the hospital and pretty sick and lost it in the hospital sheet, and you could never find it there.
Mhm.
So, fairness,
So-
you didn't care about his hearing aids at that stage when you're feeling bad.
Right. So you're talking about having hearing devices lost, maybe in a hospital, or even if you know somebody who lost them in a nursing home. If you report that to them, the hospital and the nursing home cover it.
Okay.
But they have to report that they're the ones that lost it. So
Fill out with it.
you would
I
fill
don't
out.
blame the hospital.
Yeah, I don't blame the hospitals either, but actually I do, but yeah. But no, you would have to fill out an incident report saying that your treatment was lost at that facility, and then we do have them cover the cost to replace them. But again, a lot of people don't know that you have to take that extra step to say, I need an incident report, I need this documented. and then you go to administration and tell them
And
they
the
do.
other problem he has is the noise, like if he goes out, like a TV, it's wonderful for me, it's not at 90 or whatever, 70 versus when it should be at 15. So that, if
Mhm.
people have hearing and don't realize that it's causing problems for me.
Exactly.
But then it's a miracle, I can highly speak of how great it is, but when we go into places like that, is there any new things coming out that helps that noise where he can hear in a group?
Right. Hearing and background noise is the number one issue. It's very, very difficult for anyone to hear when there's background noise like the Expo and health fair that we're at today. There's so much noise out there, it's hard to pull out the one thing that you want to hear. So the difficulty in that is, if you think about hearing aids, there's a microphone and there's a speaker. So the microphone picks up the sound and the speaker's where it makes it louder down in your ear. The microphone has to decide the microphone has to collect the sound, but then the hearing device has to decide what's noise that you don't want to hear and what's noise that you do want to hear. So the hearing devices are very, very good for quite a while at pulling out a constant noise. Like if there's a fan running and it's constant, it's easy for it to recognize that that is not speech and that that's a constant noise and try to pull that out and bring speech forward. The problem with something like a health fair is that everything is speech. Everything around you, and you can hear voices going up and down, and there's laughing, and then the microphones start and we're trying to make an announcement, and so there's speech everywhere of different volumes, and it's a lot more difficult for it to take. The good news is I just came back from a conference last week in California, and what we're doing now is training hearing aids. So using AI, using some scientific formulas for people who are way smarter than I am about trying to say, this is what speech looks like, this is what noise looks like, even if it's a noise of a rumble of speech, and trying to pull out the thing that you're looking at the most. So you may be able to hear someone straight in front of you, or maybe right next to your shoulders, but less so much behind you or further out in the area around. Next week. Yeah, yes. Yes, they're available as of now. Pardon?
Do you know what the cost is?
They've made it on a range. So the less noise that you want to hear, the more expensive it is.
Like,
You know,
is it like 8,000?
Yeah, that's a common for a pair. 8,000 isn't unusual, right? But then we have something. We also have things as low as $1,000. We take in devices. I know my time's up. I'm being checked, but we no,
Okay.
please. We take devices in from people who are maybe ill and can't wear them anymore, or if they've passed on. We have those refurbished and cleaned, and then we can give them at a lower rate. So some of them still have a warranty. Some of them still are excellent top of the line devices that have been, they're still covered. It's like buying a used car. It still has a warranty on it. So we even had that as an option for budgetary reasons, if you wanted that choice. So there's a wide range.
With those options, that means I'm going to lose my excuse for not hearing her.
You are going to lose your excuse for not being able to hear your wife. That is true.
It's a whole personal reason.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
thanks so much for coming, guys. Give Karen a big round of applause.
Thanks, y'all. I appreciate you visiting with me and not leaving me in here to talk to myself.
Bingo is
Thank
up
you.
next.